touch the fucking screen. Alright, let's see here. Technical difficulties today. There we go, come on. I don't have anything. Oh, yes, I do. Hold on a second here. Another phone. There we go. There we go. The man, the myth, the legend. Yes. All right, hold on. This is going to get a little hairy here because I have to take it out of its case. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Let me tilt this back. There we go, so we don't fall. Oh, so we fell anyway. 32 feet per second. All right, let's go like this. I'm making everybody seasick. Hold on a second here. Scroll that down. All right, a little slower this time. There we are. Actually, I don't know, does this, if I flip the camera, you know, because the lens is on the other side. Oh, I'm upside down already. All right, hold on. Wait a minute. What is going on? What is happening to me today? This is why I call it Brain Dead Tuesday, because I can't function anymore. All right. This camera makes me look old, no? Real stream. Real stream. Oh, let's find out. Verify. Next. Weird things are going on. Oh. I can't remember my passwords. I've had to change them all day today. There we go. Not now. Oh. Yeah, of course. All right. Something went wrong. Why? Am I even logged in? Technology and me. I'm live. It says I'm live. All right. Technology and me. I'm live. It says I'm live. All right. All right, let's get this show on the road. I have to do my music intro. Music intro. Welcome to Brain Dead Tuesday. I am brain dead right now. So if anybody wants to know what the name of that song is, that is called Overdriving the Mic. And I think it's done by the Austin Jug Band, but they're no longer around. They kind of broke up. But I did have a chance to see them in person. They performed here in my state, and they were absolutely fabulous. So I didn't really know what to do today to talk about, but I think that there's been a lot of hot talk over the Lacey Act, and just so you're aware, my political views are libertarian. I'm much like a John Stossel, although I'm not a Rand Paul. I don't think government really has any purpose to be involved with the personal lives of individuals, or even as a society, right? So we as a society decide that things are good, right? So as a community, in any community you live in, you agree that a hospital, right? Hospitals, clinics, ambulance services, police services, the Department of Transportation that takes care of the roads, patching, building bridges, new roads, highways, maintenance, plowing, salting, sanding. Those all benefit us, and we all participate in paying taxes so that those jobs can be done, right? So as a libertarian, I don't have a problem with government. What I have a problem with is when government inserts itself due to special interests to control. My camera was flashing and I don't know why. So just bear with me while I get through this. Whoa. Sorry. This stand I have is not made for this camera. I'm going to make you guys so sick you're all going to hang up. Hold on a second. I'm just going to tilt this back a little bit more just so I don't have gravity overtaking the camera or my camera, because it's only a year old. I don't need it to break. All right. So where was I? Let me get rid of that screen. Okay, so I was discussing the Lacey Act. Libertarian, right? The viewpoint of becoming a libertarian. Government needs to leave us alone. Even my parrot agrees, right? So my problem with government is that they create bills, right? Not paper bills like this, but whatever is really important, I don't care if you see this, whatever is important, right, is buried back here. It's all the stuff that's buried back here. It's buried. All the favors, all of the payoffs, you know, one senator says to another senator, hey, this bill's coming over from the House, we got to vote on it. You know what, we'll add a provision, we'll make sure that your new stadium gets built, we'll make sure that that new highway gets improved the way you want it. Just vote yes, right? And we'll just add these little things so that it makes it more attractive to you as someone who represents your constituents, and you'll get more support. And this way here, you'll appear as the hero, and you will get reelected. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. All right. So what about the Lacey Act? How does this all play a part in what we do? I'm not going to get hyped up about it, as I have seen other individuals get hyped up about it. But it doesn't really take a genius to go through and read the bill, whatever it is, the 2 or 3 pages that you should be reading, and follow the money. That is really where it comes down to. Follow the money, because those are the people that are going to influence the passage of this bill. I'm not worked up. I am worked up, but I'm not. My biggest concern, I will tell you an example. So I have held many, many positions in my life. In 2005, when I moved into this house, when my spouse said, "Come on and move in," I was living in Hartford, our capital city, and I was working in Manchester at a package store. I hated that job. Regardless, I got a job at an avian vet. There were 2 certified avian veterinarians on staff. One was gaining experience working with birds, and we saw birds, we saw reptiles, dogs, cats, snakes, you name it. We even saw wildlife. We had probably the main doctor who owned the clinic at the time helped a snapping turtle that got hit by a car, and one of the plates off its carapace had been removed. It was bleeding, patched it up, saved the snapping turtle. He says, yeah, this is a female snapper. She's probably 125 to 140 years old. Saved its life. after being hit by a car. So we did it, right? So I know what I'm talking about here. In 2005, our state had made it illegal for anyone to own a monk parakeet or a Quaker. Why? They made it illegal because there's a colony not living far from here and down in our New Haven area that, if you know anything about monk parakeets, what they do is they build these huge massive nests around power lines. They're not far from me. There's a stadium, and they build nests up in the lights, and it causes electrical problems and outages and fires and all sorts of safety hazards. I get it. They've been here. I want to say, I'm going off the top of my head, I think they've been here slowly increasing their numbers somewhere around for about, since the 1960s or 70s, I believe. But that's not really the point. The point is the state came in, the DEEP, which is the Department of Environmental and Energy Protection, came in and said, hey, we're making a new rule. Because we're going to pass the rule in the bill somewhere. And they said, nobody. They banned the sale of monk parakeets. Therefore, you went to a pet shop, you could not buy a monk parakeet as a pet. Any individual moving in or out into the state, whether it be Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Maryland, New Jersey, wherever you were coming from, you were not allowed to bring that bird with you unless that bird was banded, and it had to have a specific band on it. There are two types of leg bands for birds. One is a closed band. That closed band has to be put onto a hatchling within 9 days after birth or after hatching, or you can't get it on. The other one is an open band, where they take basically a ring, and it's open, and you slip it onto the finger, or actually the leg, and then you can clamp it shut. The other one is round like a ring, and that has to go over the toes, right? Because parrots have 2 toes in the back, 2 in the front, right? So you put them all together and you drop it over, and it goes over what we would think of as the ankle, right? The joint. And once it's on, it's not coming off. So day 10, this band is not on. I'll give you an example. Here, hold on. Boo, I need you. Up. Up. So here's James, my African gray, and if you look, actually, let me put him on this light. If you look closely right here, you will see he's banded. Yeah, I know. Where's my camera? Oh, see that band? That's a ring. That band is never coming off. That's been on since he was hatched. They put that on no later than 9 days of age. So, any monk parakeet that had a closed band was already registered, and that bird could be brought in, but a bird without a band and a bird with an open band could not be brought in as a pet. They had to be, well, it wasn't that they had to be turned over, but if they showed up at the clinic to be treated because of an illness, or to get their annual physical, or to get blood work, we had the order, right? The veterinarian doctor had the order to immediately either confiscate that bird, or they had to report it to the animal control officer in the town in which the resident resided. Those birds were disposed of. And I know of at least 5 birds, because they were monk parakeets, unbanded or with an open band, that had no prior medical history, that were removed from their owners and destroyed. They were euthanized, and they were perfectly good birds. I'm going to put Boo back. Hold on. Got to get my water. So when people talk about the Lacey Act saying, oh no, this is not what's going to happen, what I'm telling you is that it can happen. Now, right, I have nothing against anybody on any of the channels that are that are going off and ranting about this, but just logically calm down and say, okay, is it possible? Yes, it's possible, because my Department of Environmental and Energy Protection has already done this. They have already made monk parakeets illegal to own in my state. At the same time, at that same year, they also made it illegal for anybody to own a snakehead. So snakeheads disappeared. You are not allowed to have a snakehead fish in your aquarium. You cannot sell them. Why? Because everybody was concerned they would get into the waterways and start eating the native fish. I get it. That's a problem. Birds escape. Monk parakeets build huge, massive nests with sticks and anything that they find. They'll incorporate straws, sticks. They found chopsticks. They find plastic covers from McDonald's drinks, and what the paper cups that you get from the restaurants. They're all intertwined and they're massive, and you can't just pull them down. They're all woven, and you have to get in there, and it's a lot of work. You have to almost cut the tree down to get these nests out of there, or you have to replace the telephone or get up there and you got to pull it apart. It's a lot of work. I get it. That's why you don't want birds up and around power lines. My point here is, since the states and the Supreme Court has already ruled on this, the states have the power to ban any animal for sale at any time. Say, no, you cannot have this. Not far from me. Not far from me. I mean, I live, well, do I live central? I don't live central, right? I think her name was Nash. Hold on a second. I think the chimpanzee's name was Charlie. Chimpanzee attack Connecticut. Let's see. Yeah, Charla Nash. That happened not far from me, right? Woman owned a chimpanzee as a pet, and there were, our veterinarians actually had seven that I knew of that actually owned monkeys. They were anything from a green vervet, the organ grinder monkey. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head because I'm ranting right now. But after the chimpanzee attack, the state really cracked down and said, no more monkeys. You cannot own a primate. All right, fair enough. Massachusetts, 2005, 2004. I want to say it was around 2003. 2003 made it illegal, right? Their Department of Environmental Protection made it illegal for anyone to own a sugar glider. You cannot own sugar gliders, a marsupial, in the state of Massachusetts. Now, it had been fortunate. I was looking for some sugar gliders to keep as pets. Some lady had to turn them in because her roommate was already threatening to turn her in because she had some pretty exotic stuff. She had sugar gliders. She had a red squirrel, a couple of other things that she slowly got rid of, and the sugar gliders were the last. I can discuss sugar gliders all day long as to whether or not they make good pets and are they really a dangerous animal, or do they make good pets. I'm going to tell you, no, they do not make good pets unless you're willing to sacrifice your time and energy into keeping them alive. However, the states have the power to deem any animal dangerous, invasive, and they can put a stop to it. The problem that I find with the Lacey Act is what's going to happen is that they're just going to say, oh no, you can't sell gouramis, you can't sell neon tetras, you can't sell this, you can't sell that, right? So even in my state, for people who have Quaker parakeets who may breed them at home, may give them, right, as long as they're banded, they have to be banded. You can bring them, right, I can buy one, I can adopt one, but what they can't do is sell it out of state because the state of my state of Connecticut, has made it illegal. All right. So if the state already has that power, then what's stopping the federal government from coming in and saying, oh, Tom, you breed pencilfish. We find that pencilfish, we don't know what the impact is for collecting wild specimens. Therefore, you can't have them, you can't breed them, and we're going to make it illegal for you to even give them away. Really? They're not going to survive in our waterways. The problem here, and I have heard the argument that this is going to benefit the big box stores. Well, somebody said no, it won't, because they're going to be under the same rules under the Lacey Act, but here's the problem. They have money. They can do what they choose to do. They can back their Senate, they can back the state senators, yada, 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 down the line. Again, follow the money, and they can write in a waiver. Oh, CEO of Petco, PetSmart, XYZ big box company, sure, we'll take care of you. We understand that you need to sell these and, yada, yada, yada. We'll write in a special rule for you. And we'll make sure that this fish or this animal or this critter is available so that, we don't cause a problem. All right, well, right. So where does that leave the small little shops that I go to? I don't go to the big shops, right? I'll go to the big shops for some supplies, test kits, airline tubing, maybe buy a tank, right? Petco, 1 gallon sale. Yeah, I'll do that. I don't buy animals from there. I might buy, I get my bird food, I get the dog food, I get the cat food, I get the fish food. But I'm not buying fish from, because one, I don't buy fish from them because they don't carry the fish that I want. Or the fish that I work with. Not once have I ever walked in and they have pencil fish for sale in my area. So the power that's they're going to be granted could impact everything else down the line. Well, there you go. There goes Joe Blow's aquarium, fish store. There goes Sally Mae's fish store. That's my concern. My concern is they're going to drive down this pet industry. And if PETA has their way, and I don't know who's behind the Lacey Act, I don't know how this even came to be. However, they could be backers, right? I have read articles on them that they would like to see people who have dogs and cats not own dogs or cats. It's the precipice in which they could come after you. We're going to ban the sale of cats and dogs. Really? I don't know. I can't tell you for sure, but what I am saying here is that they open that door, they pass this, it gets signed into law, guess what's going to happen? It opens up the whole entire window for this. Now, yes, I agree with you. Some animals should not be owned as pets, right? Nowhere does it take into consideration a herpetologist who may have a black mamba or a spitting cobra or maybe a rattlesnake, an eastern diamond rattlesnake, which can be found in the woods around here, right? They milk them, they raise them, they're producing anti-venom. Right? What is the state going to do? They're going to come around and say, oh, you can't own that animal because now you need a zoo permit. Well, that's what happened in Massachusetts. You can't own the only people or facilities that can own sugar gliders are zoos. I believe when I last read it in 2004, you had to be a zoo, a zoological society that could own, right? You had the license, you could own the sugar gliders. In Connecticut, it's a wide open field. You can own a sugar glider. Sugar gliders kind of peaked up as pets. pet stores kind of sold them for a little while, and then they just kind of dropped off. So you get these waves. I have been in the pet industry since I was 14 years old. My first job was a volunteer job. I was hanging out at the fish store, doing everything over. Right, I'd help people fish out nets. Oh, you know, someone would say, oh, I need this. So I'd run down the store, pick it up, and bring it to the front counter. Changes have been made. We used to have dogs and cats very easily. We had dogs and cats in our store. Not a lot. Right around the holiday, when puppies were available, that was the thing in the 80s. Maybe probably right around the early 90s, mid 90s, it all kind of started crumbling down. They passed a rule. The rule is, if you have a dog or cat, that dog, that cat, the kitten, the puppy, needs to have a certified veterinarian come in and do I believe it's a 30-day health inspection. And you have to keep those records on file. And the animal control officer at any time can come into your facility, your store, can check those records. We used to routinely get the animal control officer in looking at hamsters, gerbils, mice, rats, guinea pigs, rabbits. Kind of almost got a couple of points docked off because I was there an hour early. The store opened at 10. I was there at 9. She knocked on the door at 9:30. I just got finished feeding the birds, making sure that all the small animals and everybody had food and water. She comes in, she looks at the rabbits. They were not clean. They weren't dirty, but they were dirty from the previous, overnight. So open during the day, they're in a clean cage, it gets dirty, right? And then at night it gets dirtier. And then we come in the morning and we would take everything out, Windex, and clean everything out and put in all new material, all new bedding. So I explained it to her, and I said, well, we don't open till 10, and that's why I'm here an hour early. So they can dock you for anything. Oh, that water bottle's not topped off. You need to make sure that's full. This is control. I'm not saying all control is bad, but when you start getting deeper into the woods, the control becomes greater and greater and greater. More power is turned over to a higher authority, and then the small business owner, the hobbyist, are the ones that are hurt. I wonder what country does the best job of protecting biodiversity.
Yeah.
Actually, Costa Rica does a fantastic job in biodiversity. Go to Costa Rica, the citizens are so concerned about the animals. Like, we had gone into the Monteverde rainforest. We're standing, it was a restaurant, and the sign says free comp, you could pay a couple of dollars and if you wanted to as a donation. There were probably 25, 30 different hummingbird feeders around, and there were, oh my gosh, there were probably at least 8 different species of hummingbird feeding at these feeders. Well, I took my camera, and believe it or not, it was this camera here, and I went to go take a picture, and this happened, The flash came up, and the flash was going to go off. The flash went off. The restaurant owner came out and said, no flash. Picture okay, no flash. They take their animals very seriously down there. Shift is almost over. Great stream time, and have a great one, folks. Okay, you too. I'm sorry I didn't see you. Costa Rica does a great job in its biodiversity and its protection. There's another country It's in South America. It is to the west of Venezuela. Oh, I'm gonna map of South America. I will tell you the country. I gotta zero in. Let me pick this one. Let me pick this one. I should have Googled Earth it, but I was a little lazy. It's already 4 o'clock. I've been doing this for almost a half an hour. Suriname. Suriname. I've done very little study on Suriname, but that is a country that they don't allow people in or out for exportation, or there's very little animal trade going on in Suriname. And from what I have read, please do not quote me, I've only done partial research, is that it's difficult to get in there to do that kind of stuff. They take their animals very seriously, and they are they are south of French Guiana. They're along, well, I wouldn't say the Amazon River, but they're on the Atlantic side. They're south of French Guiana, and they are southeast of Venezuela, but north of Brazil. So that's another country that I know off at the top of my head that does a great job with their animals. Australia, this goes back to the 1980s. It's kind of frustrating. They pretty much stopped all the exportation of cockatoos. So any black-palmed cockatoo that's in the United States, any sulfur crests cockatoos are not from there. Any of the Australian cockatoos they no longer come. They are stock that was originally brought in here and have been successfully bred in captivity. Rosella cockatoo, black palm cockatoos, you can get them, but you don't want to buy a black palm cockatoo. They're expensive. I think also Africa banned or maybe it was the U.S. Could have been the U.S. The U.S. banned the importation of any wild-caught parrot. So it was about, I'm trying to remember from my old brain, it was about 1985 or 86, thereabouts. The availability of parrots kind of dwindled down. I mean, we used to get Patagonian conures, we used to get lilac, Amazon parrots. You used to see a lot of double yellowheads, blue fronts. You would see a lot of small songbirds. We had a nightingale. I actually trained that nightingale to solve puzzles. That was a fascinating bird, friendly and a beautiful song, but yeah. So the federal government already put restrictions on bird importation. So any parrot, even African greys, cockatoos, macaws, conures, lovebirds, cockatiels, finches, canaries, they're all bred in the U.S. from the stock that was left here. So if you really want a pet bird, you can get a pet bird. There's no shortage. African gray parrots, I guess they're easily bred, although I would not want a breeding pair, because breeding pairs of birds are not friendly. Yeah, so where is this all going to go? I can't tell you. I cannot tell you what's going to happen with the Lacey Act. I don't know what the final impact is, but all I have to say is follow the money. And the concern with me is if it does pass, right, I die. We're all going to die. I'm sorry to inform you, we are all going to die, with or without health insurance. But what do I do with him? Right? He's 17 years old. I can do the math for you. Hold on. I'm going to bring up my calculator. I will tell you. Right? So African gray parrots on a good diet in captivity can live 60 years. All right? So we subtract 17 years. He's got 43 years left in him. 43 years, right? If I take my age, I will be 101. All right? The men in both sides of my family tend to die off at about 82 years of age. 82 to 85. So let's even take the 85, right? We'll go on the high end. Right? Minus 85, that's 16 years. He's going to outlive me. Right? He is going to outlive me, and what do I do with him? If the federal government says you can't transport him across state lines, the organization that I was going to give him to, right, which is called the Gabriel Foundation, would take him in. They take the cage, they'll take the health certificate, you give them a good chunk of money, they take the bird in, and there's one of two things they do. Either they hold on to the bird until the bird goes, or they will adopt the bird out. It's up to the owner as to what happens. I can't, right? If it passes, and I already know what they did with Quaker parakeets in my state, or monk parakeets, there's nothing stopping them from doing that with African gray parrots. There's nothing to stop them with, with a tail, 2 pectoral fins, a dorsal fin, nothing to stop them. There is no stopping power. They can choose to do what they want. So, I am not being an alarmist here. What I am saying is that for some reason, we as a society have decided to turn our powers, our will, our ability to make informed decisions over to the government. When did that happen? I don't know. It's been happening for years. And nobody can make sense of this. Nobody saw this coming. Please. I don't want to get too political. I've had discussions with both liberals, conservatives, libertarians. We all see this coming. I see this on the right? I view everything that's happening on the outside of this ring. I'm looking in and just going, shaking my head, what the hell is going on? Hold on. I'm all worked up. Yeah. I don't want to say I'm really worked up. I'm not. I'm more concerned about the hobby. I'm more concerned about freedom of the people to choose. Right? Not everybody needs to own a sugar glider. I would not even recommend a sugar glider as a pet. I wouldn't even recommend a parrot as a pet. Everybody says, oh my God, I want an African gray parrot. Yeah, no. No, you don't. No, just stop right now. Don't stop. I will tell you what it's like to live with this thing in your house. I'll give you my experience. I'll tell you what's involved. I'm not going to stop you. You can do with the information as you choose. Right? It's up to you. People are grown adults. They can make their own decision. Unfortunately, what ends up suffering is the animal. Right? Especially a species like that, which is highly cognitive, highly intelligent, and interactive. And that goes for all birds. That goes for canaries. I've seen canaries be very dependent on their owners. Parakeets, you name it, it doesn't matter. It could be a bird that's this big to a big macaw. It's going to be dependent upon you. And what we need to tell you, right, my message is whatever animal you take into your home, And this is why I get a little frustrated with some YouTubers. This is why, who do fish, I get a little upset with some of the not the forums, but the Facebook pages out there. I have dropped them like rocks. Oh yeah, well, you know, watch me tear down my tank. Watch me reset my tank. Oh, I know I reset this tank just 6 months ago, but I've decided to do something different and put some new fish in there, so let's redo the tank. What are you doing? You're only doing it because you're not telling the half-truth. The half-truth is, my guess is, you fail to keep your fish safe. Your fish die. And you keep sticking your hands in the tank, and you keep messing with things. Does not make you an expert when you start posting video after video after video, right? That doesn't make you an expert. Yeah. Doesn't. Sorry. You may be good, right? You could be good for what you're doing, but if I'm seeing you set up a tank every 6 months, or coming on whining and crying about something, doesn't make you a good fish keeper. I'm just saying. Like I said, I don't know where this bill's gonna go. I wouldn't pay attention to the real fanaticals, and I'm really trying not to be a fanatical here, but what I am saying is that what am I saying? I'm saying pay attention to what's going on, follow the money, and you'll know. And if it does pass and it gets as bad as other people have said it's going to be, then I was right. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's just the way it is. But I see it as a potential, as a gateway to everything else that can happen down the road. I just can't imagine, I can't imagine the federal government coming on, or whoever's going to be in charge, the agency that's going to be in charge, that, oh yeah, you cannot, we're not going to allow the importation of this species of fish. What's the purpose? They've already been imported, they're not endangered. Some of the species I work with are seasonal, right? So they only breed in rainy seasons. They are bred in ditches on the side of the road. They multiply, the eggs get laid, they reproduce, the place goes dry, and then next rainy season the eggs get rehydrated and they hatch and you're all set again. What's the harm? The harm is that if somebody's not keeping them and someone's not working with them, and for some unknown reason something happens to their environment, then the species could be gone forever. That's where it becomes, to me, extreme. Because somebody says, oh, we can't import this fish because this fish is endangered in the wild. And we don't know what it's going to do here if it gets out and released into a local pond or stream. Yeah, there's consequences, right? You got the carp down in the rivers that jump out and slap people, and I've seen the videos, right? The boat goes down, the fish are jumping. Okay, yeah, that's a problem. I get it. But pencilfish, neons, rummy nose, some of the armored catfish, right? I'm sorry. Yes, I understand you can find plecos in Florida. My guess is you're not finding zebra plecos in Florida. You're not finding clown plecos, and you're not finding any of the harder, difficult species to find. You're not finding neon tetras in springs. You're not finding rummy nose. Yeah, iguanas, I guess, are a problem down in Florida. But You get, right, the state of Florida, right? The state of Florida says, oh, go out and make iguana hunting legal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what happens? Some animal rights activist is knocking on your door. Don't be shooting those iguanas. Those iguanas have a right to live. Yeah. Sorry. So, there you go, folks. All right. Well, this has been a half an hour, 45 minutes. I think it's fun. I don't know if anybody's still here. Not. The video's up. It'll be posted shortly, right? For all to view. I have made my stance. All I'm saying is, all one needs to do is, one, follow the money. Number two, be cautious of what's passed. Be cautious of who you vote for. Because all elections have consequences. All laws have consequences. Good and bad. Doesn't matter what political party writes the law. But all laws, all elections have consequences, good and bad. And that is a individual viewpoint. Some people are going to say, hey, this last presidential election, we got a whole new administration. That's a good thing for America. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to argue with you. That's your viewpoint. Right? I say, if I say it's a bad thing, it's a bad thing. That's my viewpoint. My rights end where yours begin. You can believe in anything that you want to believe in. I will believe in anything I want to believe in. But I can't force you to have my beliefs. No matter what the hot topic button is. My answer is in the Constitution. My answer is in the court's ruling, the Supreme Court's rulings on previous cases. Whatever hot topic button it is. Whether it be gun control, abortion, animal control, whatever. All the decisions have good and bad consequences. And unless you understand that, then you know, if you don't understand that, then I don't know what right anybody has to complain at all. We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. I've done what I can. I called my senators. I have called my state representatives. I have written to them. That's all I can do as one person. If the feedback I see out there on some Facebook group pages are, oh, it's fake news. Oh, that's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Just scratch your head and just remember, nobody ever thought that Nazi Germany was going to do what they did, right? In basic terms, the Germans stuck their noses in corners where it didn't belong, and we ended up with World War II. That wasn't a good thing, and nobody ever thought that was going to happen, but it did. Just saying. Can't make this stuff up. And other than that, I don't have anything else to say. So I think it's time to say goodbye. Bum, 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 bum. Are you dancing? All right. Until next time, probably not until next week. You all have a good day.